Commander Taewon Park stood at the window of the Seoul Space Command Center, his dark eyes fixed on the night sky. He had trained for 15 years for space missions, but nothing had prepared him for this day. "Commander, they're requesting to speak with you again," said Lieutenant Han, her voice shaking a little. Taewon turned from the window. The room was full of military officers and government officials. All of them looked scared. Just 3 hours ago, a massive ship had appeared, above Earth. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ship belonged to what they called the Galactic Confederation. "Put them on screen," Taewon said. The large screen lit up. On it was the face of an alien. It had blue-gray skin, large black eyes, and no hair. This was Grand Admiral Vexus of the Confederation Fleet. "Commander Park," the alien said in perfect Korean. They had technology that translated all languages. "Have your leaders made their decision? We offer friendship and technology. The Confederation welcomes Earth." Taewon looked at President Yoon, who nodded. "We are prepared to meet with you," Taewon said. "I will lead our team to your ship." "Excellent," said Vexus. "We await your arrival." When the screen went dark, President Yoon pulled Taewon aside. "We don't have much choice," the president said. "Their ship could destroy our major cities in minutes. Be diplomatic, but learn everything you can." Taewon nodded. "What about Dr. Kim? Is she joining us?" "Yes. If anyone can understand their technology, it's Ji-eun." 2 hours later, Taewon sat in a small space shuttle rising toward the massive alien ship. Beside him was Dr. Ji-eun Kim, South Korea's top astrophysicist. 3 other officials and 2 security officers completed the team. "I never thought first contact would happen during my lifetime," Ji-eun said quietly. Her hands gripped a tablet. "Computer. I have 1,000 questions already." "Remember the mission," Taewon said. "We need to learn their intentions. Why Earth? Why now?" Ji-eun nodded. The shuttle continued upward until the enormous ship filled their view. It was shaped like a flattened diamond, dark metal with blue lights. A section opened and their shuttle was guided inside. When they stepped out into the alien ship, Taewon noticed something strange. The aliens kept their distance. There were 6 of them, similar to Vexus but wearing different colored uniforms. They stood at least 3 meters away. "Welcome to the Galactic Confederation vessel Harmony of Star," said one alien. "I am Second Commander Loritix. Please follow me to the meeting chamber." The hallways were wide and tall. The lighting was dim compared to Earth standards. Taewon noticed the aliens watch the humans carefully, especially the 2 security officers. In the meeting chamber, a long table was set up. The aliens sat on one side, the humans on the other. There was a large gap between them. Grand Admiral Vexus entered. "Commander Park, Dr. Kim, honored representatives of Earth. This is a historic day." The meeting began with explanations about the Confederation, a union of 246 intelligent species across thousands of star systems. They had been watching Earth for decades, Vexus explained, waiting until humans had reached a certain level of technology. "We offer faster-than-light travel, medical advances, and clean energy," Vexus said. "In return, we ask for cultural exchange and some raw materials your planet has in abundance." It sounded too good to be true. Taewon noticed that when he shifted in his seat or moved his hands, the aliens would flinch slightly. During a break in the talks, Taewon pulled Ji-eun aside. "Have you noticed how they react to us?" he whispered. Ji-eun nodded. "They seem afraid, even though they have all this technology and power." When the meeting resumed, Ji-eun asked about biology and planetary conditions. The aliens shared data on their screens. As a gesture of goodwill, they provided basic information about all major Confederation species. Most Confederation worlds have gravity between 0.3 and 0.7 of Earth standard, explained a science officer. "Our homeworld is 0.6 of your gravity." Ji-eun's eyes widened as she reviewed the data. She wrote something on her tablet and slid it to Taewon. "They are physically much weaker than humans. Earth is a heavy world by their standards." The talks continued for hours. The aliens explained that Earth was in a region of space claimed by both the Confederation and their rivals, a group called the Dominion. The Confederation had reached Earth first, but the Dominion might try to interfere. "We offer protection," Vexus said. "The Dominion does not appreciate species like yours." "Species like ours?" Taiwan asked. Vexus paused. "Species with your particular evolutionary path. High-gravity worlds produce certain physical capabilities." Before Taiwan could ask more questions, alarms blared throughout the ship. Aliens rushed into the room. "Admiral, Dominion ships have entered the system," one shouted. Vexus stood. "This meeting must end. Return to your shuttle immediately." The humans were rushed back through the hallways. Jiun was downloading the biological data when a massive blast rocked the ship. They were thrown against a wall. "They're attacking already," shouted one of the security officers. Through a viewport, they could see 3 angular black ships firing on the Confederation vessel. Their escort aliens were panicking. "This way to your shuttle," said one alien. But another explosion separated Taewon Ji-yoon and one security officer from the rest of the group. "Commander Park," came Vexus's voice over a communication system. "Your main shuttle bay is destroyed. Head to Auxiliary Bay 3. Taewon helped Ji-yoon to her feet. "Which way?" he asked the alien nearest them. The alien looked terrified. "Follow me, but please, move slowly." They ran through smoke-filled corridors. More explosions shook the ship. They reached a small bay with several smaller vessels. "These are scout ships," the alien said. "I am Kiro, technical specialist. I can pilot you back to Earth." They boarded, a sleek, dart-like craft. As Kiro prepared for launch, Jiun looked at her tablet. "Taewon, look at this comparison data," she whispered, showing him the screen. "The average Confederation species has muscle density 1/3 of humans. Their bones break under forces we consider normal. To them, we're like monsters." Taewon finished. The scout ship launched just as another explosion tore through the main vessel. As they sped away, they saw more Dominion ships arriving. "The Dominion believes humans should be contained, not welcomed," Kiro said, his hands shaking as he piloted the ship. "They think Earth is too dangerous to join the galactic community." "But we've done nothing to them," the security officer said. "It's not what you've done," Kiro replied. "It's what you are." Their small ship raced toward Earth, but 2 Dominion fighters followed. Laser fire flashed past them. "Can this ship fight back?" Taewon asked. "It has basic defenses, but we're outmatched," Kiro said. A direct hit made the ship spin. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "Engine damaged. We cannot reach Earth," Kiro said. "We must jump to hyperspace." "No!" Jiun shouted. "We need to warn Earth." "Too late," Kiro said as he activated a sequence. "The Dominion is launching their containment protocol. Your planet is about to be quarantined." The stars stretched into lines around them. Earth vanished from their view. Their small ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving their home behind just as hundreds of Dominion ships began to form a blockade around the entire solar system. Taewon looked at Ji-un, whose face showed the same shock he felt. They were now alone, in the galaxy, carrying the knowledge of why aliens feared humans, and they had no way to get home. The scout ship hurtled through hyperspace. Inside, Taewon watched as Kiro worked frantically at the controls. Warning lights still flashed across the panel. "Engine damage is worse than I thought," Kiro said. His thin blue fingers moved quickly over the screen. "We cannot stay in hyperspace much longer." Jiun looked up from her tablet. She had been studying the alien biological data for hours. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Away from Dominion territory," Kiro said. "But we have limited options with a damaged ship." The security officer, Sergeant Moon, stood by the viewport. "Can we contact Earth? Warn them?" Kiro shook his head. "The Dominion blockade will block all signals, and this ship has short-range communications only." The ship suddenly lurched. Everyone grabbed something to steady themselves. More red lights flashed. "We must exit hyperspace now," Kiro said. He pressed several controls. The streaking stars outside slowed and became normal points of light again. A large planet came into view. It was yellowish-brown with swirling clouds. Nexora, Kiro said. An outpost planet on the edge of Confederation. Space, we can find help there. Taewon moved closer to Ji-un. What have you learned from the data? He asked quietly. It's amazing, she said. Earth's gravity is stronger than 90% of inhabited worlds. Our atmosphere is denser. Our radiation levels are higher. To most species in the galaxy, Earth would be a death trap. And that makes us dangerous? Ji-un nodded. What's normal for us would kill many aliens. The average Confederation citizen can only lift about 20 kilograms. Their bones break easily. They tire quickly. So we're basically superhuman to them, Sergeant Moon said, joining their conversation. Exactly, Ji-un said. And it's not just physical strength. Our reaction times are faster. Our bodies heal quicker. We can eat foods that would poison them. Their conversation was interrupted as the ship shuddered again. We're being tracked, Kiro said with fear in his voice. Dominion hunters. They must have followed our hyperspace trail. On the rear view screen, 2 black ships appeared. They were small but moved fast. They will disable us, then board, Kiro said. We must reach Nexora's surface and hide. Taewon looked at the planet growing, larger in the viewport. Can you outrun them? No. But I know the planet. There's an asteroid belt we can use to lose them. Kiro steered the ship toward a thick ring of rocks circling Nexora. The Dominion ships followed, firing energy weapons that barely missed them. Hold on, Kiro shouted as he flew the ship into the asteroid field. The small ship dodged between massive rocks. Kiro's piloting was impressive, but a near miss from a Dominion weapon threw off his course. Their ship scraped against an asteroid. Hull breach in the engine section, Kiro cried. We're losing power. One Dominion ship crashed into an asteroid while chasing them. The other kept following, but at a safer distance. We need to land now, Kiro said. I can reach the surface, but our landing will be rough. The ship broke through Nexora's atmosphere, shaking violently. Through the clouds, they saw a vast desert with rocky mountains. Kiro aimed for a canyon. Brace for impact, he shouted. The ship hit the ground hard and skidded along the canyon floor. When it finally stopped, everything was quiet except for the hiss of broken systems. Everyone alive? Taewon asked, picking himself up from the floor. Ji-un had a cut on her forehead but nodded. Sergeant Moon was checking his weapon. Kiro was still at the controls trying to shut down systems that sparked and smoked. We must leave quickly, Kiro said. The remaining hunter will land soon to look for us. They gathered what supplies they could and exited the damaged ship. The air of Nexora was breathable but had a strange smell. The gravity felt lighter than Earth. The main settlement is 10 kilometers that way, Kiro pointed, but we should hide this ship first. They worked together to cover the crashed ship with rocks and sand. Taewon noticed that he and Sergeant Moon could lift boulders that Kiro couldn't even move. When Kiro watched them work, his large eyes showed both fear and respect. The stories about humans are true, Kiro said quietly. What stories? Taewon asked. Throughout the galaxy, humans are in legends. Some say you can bend metal with your bare hands. Others say you can survive in vacuum for minutes. Most species think these are just scary stories for children. But you knew better? Ji-un asked. Kiro looked down. My people study biology. We knew Earth was special. That's why I decided to help you. They finished hiding the ship and began walking toward the settlement. The landscape was strange. Rock formations in odd shapes, plants that looked like glass sculptures. 2 small moons were visible in the daytime sky. After walking for an hour, they heard a sound behind them. Sergeant Moon drew his gun. Something's following us, he whispered. They hid behind rocks and watched. A figure appeared, walking casually along their path. It was shaped like a human, but wore what looked like armor. A Dominion hunter? Ji-un asked. Kiro squinted. No, I think it can't be. The figure got closer. To their shock, it was a human man. He was tall with broad shoulders and looked to be in his 30s. "You can come out," the man called. In Korean. "I know you're there. I saw your ship crash." Cautiously, they stepped from behind the rocks. The man smiled when he saw them. More humans. "It's been years since I've seen anyone from Earth," he said. "I'm Suho Lee." Taewon stepped forward. "Commander Taewon Park, Korean Space Defense Force. How are you here?" Suho's smile faded. "I was taken 8 years ago. Research ship near Jupiter. Everyone thought it was an accident, I guess." "You were abducted?" Ji-eun asked. Suho nodded. "By the Confederation at first, then I escaped. Been making my way in the galaxy since then." He looked at Kiro. "Your alien friend looks nervous." Kiro was indeed shaking slightly. You're the ghost of Nexora," Kiro said. "The human who broke out of the containment facility. You killed 12 guards." Suho shrugged. "They shouldn't have tried to stop me. I was done being a lab rat." He turned to Taiwan. "Why are you here? Did Earth finally develop space travel?" Quickly, Taiwan explained about the Confederation ship, the Dominion attack, and Earth's quarantine. Suho's face grew serious. "It's worse than I thought. They're finally making their move." "What move?" asked Ji-eun. "Both the Confederation and Dominion have been watching Earth for centuries. They're afraid of what will happen when humans join the galactic community. They know we're stronger, faster, tougher. So they quarantined us?" Sergeant Moon asked. Suho nodded. "And they've been taking humans for study for decades. I'm not the only one. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of us scattered across the galaxy. Some are test subjects, others are slaves, some like me escaped." A sound in the distance made them all turn. A ship was landing several kilometers away. "Dominion hunters," Suho said. "I know a place to hide. Follow me." As they hurried after Suho, Ji-eun walked beside Taewon. "If what he says is true," she whispered, "Earth isn't just joining the galactic community. We're walking into a trap set centuries ago." Taewon nodded grimly. "And we're the only ones who know the truth." Ahead of them, Suho led the way into a hidden cave system. As darkness surrounded them, Taewon wondered how they could possibly save their planet when they were trapped so far from home. Deep in the cave system, Suho led the group through narrow passages. The walls glowed with faint blue light from strange moss. The air was cool and damp. "How much further?" Sergeant Moon asked. He kept looking back, listening for followers. "Almost there," Suho replied. "I've been using these caves for 3 years. The Dominion hunters can't track us down here." They turned a corner and entered a larger cave. It was set up as a living space with simple furniture, containers of supplies, and equipment that looked like a mix of Earth and alien technology. "Welcome to my home," Suho said. "It's not much, but it's safe." Ji-eun looked around in wonder. "You've been living here alone all this time?" Suho shook his head. "Not alone, and not just here." He walked to a metal panel on the wall and pressed his hand against it. A hidden door slid open. "Come. There's someone you should meet." They followed him through the door and down a short tunnel. It opened into a massive cavern that made them all stop in amazement. The cavern was filled with activity. Dozens of humans moved around what looked like a small village built into the rock. Some worked on ships and equipment, others trained in what appeared to be a combat area. There were even some aliens mixed in working alongside the humans. "What is this place?" Taewon asked, his voice quiet with surprise. "We call it Haven," said a woman's voice behind them. They turned to see a tall woman with short black hair and a scar across her cheek. She wore a uniform unlike any on Earth, dark gray with red markings. "This is Hae-in," Suho said. "She leads our group." Hae-in studied the newcomers carefully. "More visitors from Earth. The situation must be serious if the Confederation finally made contact." Taewon introduced himself and the others, then explained what had happened. Hae-in listened without interruption, her face growing more serious as he described Earth's quarantine. "I've been expecting this," she said when he finished. The Dominion has been building ships near our sector for months. She turned to Suho. We need to move up our plans. Plans for what? Ji-yoon asked. Hye-in gestured for them to follow her. She led the group to a large table with a holographic display showing star systems. This is the Resistance, she explained. Humans who were taken from Earth over many years. Some escaped like Suho. Others were rescued. We've been gathering, preparing. Preparing for what? Sergeant Moon asked. To fight back, Hye-in said simply. To warn Earth and break the quarantine. Taewon looked around the cavern again. How many humans are here? In this base, about 60, Suho said. But we have contacts with other groups. In total, maybe 400 humans spread across 20 systems. Ji-eun gasped. That many? All abducted? Hae-in nodded. For over a century. The earliest were taken in the 1920s by Confederation scouts, then more during the World Wars when ships could visit Earth without being noticed. Kiro, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. My people know of these abductions. Some of us have been trying to stop them. That's why I helped you escape. Hae-in looked at Kiro with suspicion. We've had help from aliens before. Not all were honest about their motives. I understand your caution, Kiro said, but I believe humans deserve to know the truth. Hae-in led them through the base, showing them their operations. They had workshops where they modified alien technology, training areas where humans practiced fighting in different gravity conditions, medical facilities where they studied the differences between humans and alien biology. Most of us were chosen because we had special skills, Hae-in explained. Scientists, soldiers, engineers. I was South Korean Special Forces before they took me 15 years ago. The aliens made a mistake, Suho added. They took the best of us thinking they could study what makes humans special. Instead, they gave us the knowledge and motivation to fight back. In the training area, they watched humans practicing combat moves that seemed impossible, jumping 5 meters high, lifting objects that would be too heavy on Earth. The lower gravity on most planets gives us advantages, Hae-in explained. What takes years of training for aliens comes naturally to us. Ji-eun watched with wide eyes. It's like we're superhuman out here. That's why they fear us, Hae-in said. Not just our physical strength, but our adaptability. Humans can survive in environments that would kill most species. We heal faster. We learn faster. In another section of the base, aliens and humans worked together in a laboratory. One alien, tall with gray skin and 4 arms, approached them. This is Zentor, Hye-in said. He's been helping us understand galactic politics and technology. Zentor bowed slightly. The new arrivals from Earth. Your timing is fortunate. We've been monitoring Dominion communications. Their quarantine of your world is just the beginning. Beginning of what? Taewon asked. A power shift, Zentor replied. For millennia, the Confederation and Dominion have controlled the galaxy by suppressing species they consider threatening. Humans are the most threatening they've encountered. Ji-yoon spent time in the lab, sharing the data she'd downloaded from the Confederation ship. The scientists were excited by her findings. This confirms our theories, said one human scientist. Earth's conditions created beings uniquely suited for space exploration. Our muscles, bones, even our aggressive problem-solving skills evolved because of Earth's challenges. Later, Hae-in gathered them for a meeting with her top lieutenants. A holographic map showed a space station orbiting a gas giant. This is our target, she said. A Dominion communications hub. If we can take it, we can send a message through their own network, bypassing the quarantine to reach Earth. That's your plan? Sergeant Moon asked. To attack a Dominion facility? We've done it before, Suho said. Smaller targets, but the same principle. Hit fast, use our strength, get out before they can respond. Taewon studied the hologram. Even with our advantages, this looks heavily defended. It is, Hae-in admitted. But we have something new. She nodded to Kiro. Kiro activated a different hologram showing a ship design. My people have provided this stealth vessel. It can approach the station undetected. Why would your people help us? Jiun asked. Not all aliens fear humans, Kiro said. Some of us believe the galaxy needs change. The Confederation and Dominion have ruled too long, kept too many species down. Humans might be the force that breaks their control. Hei-In spent the next hours explaining the mission details. A small team would infiltrate the communications hub. Ji-Un would use her scientific knowledge to access the system. They would broadcast a warning to Earth about both alien factions. I've been training for this. Mission for months, Suho told Taiwan as they prepared equipment. Now it has even more purpose with you here. Earth needs to know what's happening. Taiwan helped Suho check weapons, strange devices that fired energy pulses. Do you think we can really make a difference? He asked. The galaxy is so vast, and we're so few. Suho smiled. That's why they fear us, Commander. Because humans always find a way. As the team made final preparations, Taiwan watched the humans and alien allies working together. Despite being lost far from home, for the first time since leaving Earth, he felt hope. These people, these survivors, had built something remarkable. Tomorrow we strike, Hei-In announced, and the galaxy will learn why humans should be respected, not feared. That night, Taiwan couldn't sleep. He sat watching the strange stars through a crack in the cavern ceiling. Ji-Un found him there and sat beside him. Do you think Earth is preparing to fight? She asked quietly. If I know our people, they're not accepting the quarantine peacefully, Taiwan said. But they don't know what they're really fighting against, or why. Ji-Un nodded. Then we need to succeed tomorrow, for all of humanity. Above them, the alien stars twinkled. Somewhere out there, Earth was surrounded by enemy ships. But it wasn't alone anymore. Its children were scattered across the stars, and they were ready to fight back. The stealth ship moved silently through space. It looked like a dark arrowhead, its surface absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Inside, Taiwan checked his equipment one last time. Remember, Hei-In said to the team, our goal is to send the message to Earth. We get in, broadcast, and get out. No unnecessary risks. The team consisted of Taiwan, Ji-Un, Sergeant Moon, Suho, Hei-In, and Kiro. Each wore a light armor suit designed for human strength. Each carried energy weapons. Through the viewport, they could see their target, the Dominion Communications hub. It was a massive ring-shaped station orbiting a gas giant planet. Hundreds of ships moved around it. How do we get past all those ships? Sergeant Moon asked. We don't need to, Kiro explained. This vessel has cloaking technology. They can't see us. Suho pointed to a section of the station. That's our entry point. Maintenance dock. Minimal security. The ship slipped past the Dominion vessels without being detected. They docked at a small port on the underside of the station. The airlock opened silently. Artificial gravity here is 0.7 Earth standard, Hei-In told them. Remember your training. Control your strength. Move carefully. They entered the station. The corridors were dim and empty in this section. Kiro guided them using a small device that showed the station layout. The main communications center is 3 levels up, he whispered. We need to reach the central lift. They moved quickly but cautiously. Twice they had to hide as Dominion guards passed. The aliens were tall and thin with pale green skin. They wore black armor and carried weapons. Those are Vextar, Suho explained quietly. Elite Dominion soldiers, still weaker than humans but smarter than most. They reached the central lift without being detected. Kiro worked on the control panel. I'm overriding the security, he said. It will take a moment. Suddenly an alarm blared. Red lights flashed in the corridor. That's not us, Kiro said, looking at his device. Something else triggered a station-wide alert. We need to move now, Hei-In decided, whether we're ready or not. The lift doors opened and they rushed inside. It began to rise toward the upper levels. When the doors opened again, they faced chaos. Dominion soldiers ran in all directions. None seemed to notice the humans at first. On large screens along the walls, they could see ships firing at each other near the station. The Confederation is attacking the Dominion fleet, Suho said, watching the screens. This might work in our favor. They used the confusion to move toward the communications center. When they reached the main doors, they found them locked and guarded by 4 Vextar soldiers. We can't avoid this fight, Heian said. Ready? Before the guards could react, the humans attacked. Taewon was shocked at how fast he could move in the lower gravity. He leaped 5 meters across the room and tackled one guard before the alien could fire his weapon. The humans overpowered the guards quickly. Their earthborn strength was too much for the Dominion soldiers. Cairo, get those doors open, Heian ordered. Inside the communications center, more Dominion personnel worked at control stations. They looked up in shock as the humans burst in. Everyone, down, Suho shouted, firing his weapon into the ceiling. The energy blast shook the room. The alien workers dropped to the floor, clearly terrified at the sight of humans. Jun, you're up, Taewon said. Jiun rushed to the main control panel. Kiro joined her, helping translate the alien technology. I need 5 minutes to configure a message to Earth, she said, her fingers flying over the controls. Make it 3, Heian replied. We won't have longer than that. Sergeant Moon and Suho guarded the doors. Taewon and Heian watched the screens showing the space battle outside. Something's wrong, Taewon said. The Confederation and Dominion ships are fighting, but they're avoiding critical hits. It's almost like they're putting on a show, Heian finished. Her eyes narrowed. I've suspected for years that their conflict is not what it seems. Jiun suddenly gasped. Taewon, look at this. On her screen was information she had accessed from the Dominion database. It showed maps of the galaxy with thousands of worlds. Marked. What is it? Taewon asked. These are quarantined worlds, Jiun said. Not just Earth. Thousands of planets all cut off from galactic society. She scrolled through the data. Some for hundreds of years, some for thousands. Kiro looked at the screen. The suppression protocol, he said quietly. It's worse than we thought. What's the suppression protocol? Sergeant Moon called from the door. Both the Confederation and Dominion work together to identify species with potential, Kiro explained. Species that might challenge their control of the galaxy. Then they isolate them, study them, sometimes harvest individuals for research. They're not really enemies, Heian realized. They're partners. Jiun continued searching through the data. It says Earth was classified as an extreme potential threat 300 years ago. They've been watching us since then, taking people, studying our society. The wars, the conflicts on Earth, Taewon said. Did they influence those too? Jiun nodded grimly. According to this, they've been manipulating Earth's development, slowing our space technology while advancing other areas. Why not just destroy us? Sergeant Moon asked. Resources, Kiro said. Humans are valuable. Your adaptability, your strength. Both sides want to use those qualities, not lose them. Suho shouted a warning from the door. We've got company. A lot of it. Through the windows they could see dozens of Dominion soldiers approaching from both directions. Ji-un, how much longer? Taewon asked. Almost ready, she replied. The message is prepared. I just need to bypass the final security. Protocols. Heian made a quick decision. Suho, Sergeant Moon, and I will hold them off. Taewon, protect Jun and Kiro until the message is sent. The battle began. The 3 defenders took positions at the doors, using the narrow corridors to their advantage. Their earthborn strength and speed gave them an edge, but the Dominion soldiers kept coming. There's something else here, Ji-un said as she worked. Files about Earth's defenses. They've been studying our military capabilities. Can you include that in the message? Taewon asked. Ji-un nodded. I'm sending everything. Earth needs to know who their real enemies are. At the doors, the fighting grew more intense. Suho took a hit from an energy weapon, but kept fighting. Can't hold much longer, Heian shouted. Got it. Ji-un finally said, Message transmitting now. On the main screen, they could see their signal breaking through the Dominion network, bypassing the blockade around Earth. It would take hours to reach their home planet, but it would get there. We need to leave, Kiro said urgently. Now. They fought their way back toward the lift. Suho was injured badly but refused help. "I can make it," he insisted. As they reached the central corridor, a new group of Dominion soldiers appeared. These wore different armor, black with gold markings. Elite commandos, Heian warned. Very dangerous. The fight was brutal. The humans used every advantage their Earth-born bodies gave them. But the elite Dominion forces had better weapons and tactics. When it seemed they would be overwhelmed, Suho made a decision. He looked at Taewon. "Get them out. The message is what matters." Before anyone could stop him, Suho charged the Dominion commandos. He fired his weapon at the ceiling, causing a section to collapse. The falling debris separated Suho from the others, trapping him with the enemy. "Go!" he shouted. "I'll hold them as long as I can." Taewon wanted to help, but Heian pulled him back. "He's right. The mission comes first." They escaped to the maintenance dock where their ship waited. As they took off, explosions rocked the communications hub. Suho had destroyed the central system, making sure their message couldn't be stopped. In space, the battle between Confederation and Dominion ships continued. But now Taiwan saw it differently. It wasn't a real war. It was a show designed to maintain control over the galaxy. "Where do we go now?" Sergeant Moon asked as they slipped away from the station. Heian looked at the star map. "To find allies. Now that we know the truth, we need to reach other suppressed worlds. Build a real resistance." Jiun worked at the communications panel. "I'm trying to track our message, confirm it reached Earth." After several minutes, she looked up with hope in her eyes. "Signal confirmed. Earth received our transmission." Taewon felt both relief and worry. Earth now knew the truth about the galaxy. But what would they do with that knowledge? And what would the Confederation and Dominion do when they realized their secret was exposed? As their ship jumped to hyperspace, Taewon looked back at the fading stars. Suho had sacrificed himself so humans could know the truth. Now it was up to them to change the galaxy. 3 months had passed since the message was sent to Earth. Taewon stood on the bridge of the ship New Horizon, watching stars streak by in hyperspace. The ship had once belonged to the Confederation, but was now part of the growing human fleet. "Commander, we're approaching Earth space," said the pilot. Taewon nodded. "Prepare to exit hyperspace. All crews on alert." Next to him, Ji-eun checked data on a screen. "The blockade is still in place according to our scouts. Over 200 Dominion ships. And our force?" Taewon asked. 37 ships. "Not enough for a direct fight," Ji-eun replied. "But we have the new technology from Kiro's people." In the months since their discovery of the truth, much had changed. Their resistance had grown, connecting with other suppressed worlds. Kiro's species, the Lorians, had secretly opposed the Confederation and Dominion for centuries. They provided advanced technology and ships to the human resistance. Heian entered the bridge. She now commanded the entire human fleet. "All ships report ready," she said. "We've received the signal from Earth's forces. They'll attack the blockade from the inside when we arrive." Taewon looked at the tactical display. "Let's hope Minister Yoon's plan works." After receiving their message, Earth had united against the alien threat. Defense Minister Min Ji-yoon led Earth's response, using the information about Confederation and Dominion weaknesses to prepare a counterattack. "Exiting hyperspace in 3, 2, 1, the pilot announced. The starlight shifted back to normal. Ahead of them, Earth's solar system came into view. The Dominion blockade formed a sphere around it, hundreds of black ships in formation. "They've spotted us," Ji-eun said. "They're moving to intercept." "All ships, engage stealth systems," Heian ordered. The human fleet vanished from sensors. This was Lorian technology that neither the Confederation nor Dominion possessed. The ships continued forward, now invisible to the enemy. "We need to get closer before they detect us," Taewon said. "Communications, signal Earth forces. Operation Homecoming begins now." Inside the blockade, Earth ships launched their attack. In the month since the quarantine began, humans had studied the few alien ships they had captured. They reversed engineered key technologies and built weapons specifically designed to target Dominion weaknesses. The blockade ships turned inward to face this unexpected threat. In the confusion, the human resistance fleet dropped their stealth and attacked from behind. "Target their engine sections," Taewan ordered. "Disable, don't destroy unless necessary." The battle was fierce. Though outnumbered, the human ships had advantages. Their crews could withstand higher G-forces during maneuvers. Their weapons were designed specifically for this fight, and they were fighting for their home. On the main screen, Taewan saw Earthships breaking through the blockade. One large vessel moved directly toward them. "We're receiving a transmission from the Earth vessel, Defender," the communications officer said. Minister Min Ji-yoon's face appeared on screen. She looked tired but determined. "Commander Park." "It's good to see you alive," she said. "When we received your message, it confirmed what we suspected. The aliens were never here for peaceful contact. Minister, we've learned much more since then," Taewan replied. "The deception goes deeper than we imagined." As the battle continued around them, Taewan's ship and the Defender docked together. In the meeting room, Taewan, Ji-un, and Hai-in briefed Minister Yoon on everything they had discovered. "They've been controlling thousands of worlds," Ji-un explained, showing the star maps they had stolen. "Any species with potential is isolated, studied, sometimes harvested for their unique abilities." Minister Yoon studied the data carefully. "And these Lorians, can we trust them?" "They've proven themselves," Hai-in said. "They've been fighting from the shadows for centuries. Without their help, we wouldn't be here now." "We have a larger plan," Taewan added. "Not just to free Earth, but to break their control over the entire galaxy." The minister looked thoughtful. "Earth is ready to join that fight. In these months, humanity has united like never before. Old conflicts seem small compared to this threat. Reports came in that the blockade was breaking. The combined forces of Earth and the resistance were winning. But victory would be short-lived unless they struck at the heart of the enemy. The Confederation and Dominion will send more ships," Hai-in warned. "We need to move to Phase 2 of our plan." Minister Yoon agreed. "Earth's fleet will defend our system. Your ships should proceed to the target." Back on the New Horizon, Taewan gathered his crew. "We've broken the blockade, but our main mission is just beginning. Set course for the galactic core." The ship jumped to hyperspace, leading a smaller fleet of 12 ships. Their destination, the hidden headquarters where the leaders of both the Confederation and Dominion met in secret. "Do you think it will work?" Ji-un asked quietly as they stood watching the hyperspace view. "It has to," Taewan replied. "Kiros, information is solid. If we can expose the truth to the entire galaxy at once, their control system collapses." Days later, they arrived at the coordinates Kiro had provided. It was a massive space station hidden within an artificial nebula. The cloud of gas and dust concealed it from casual detection. "Stealth systems engaged," the pilot reported. "We're approaching undetected." Their plan was simple but dangerous. They would infiltrate the station during the High Council meeting, where leaders of both factions gathered. Using the station's own communication system, they would broadcast proof of the deception to every world in the galaxy. Taewan led the infiltration team, himself, Ji-un, Hai-in, Sergeant Moon, and Kiro. They wore the advanced armor provided by the Lorians. They docked at a maintenance port and entered the station silently. "The council chamber is 2 levels up," Kiro whispered, checking his scanner. "The meeting begins in 20 minutes. They moved through the station, avoiding patrols. The security was heavy but focused outward, not expecting an enemy to be already inside. When they reached the upper level, they found an observation gallery overlooking the council chamber. Below, representatives of both the Confederation and Dominion sat together around a large table. Among them was Grand Admiral Vexus, who had first greeted Earth. "Recording all of this," Ji-un whispered, activating devices that would capture every word. The meeting began. The leaders spoke openly about their control of the galaxy, about the necessary suppression of dangerous species like humans. They discussed the Earth situation as a containment failure that needed to be corrected. We should proceed with sterilization, one Dominion leader suggested. Earth is too dangerous to study any longer. That would waste valuable resources, Vexus argued. Humans can be controlled if we apply the right pressure. As they listened, Taiwan's anger grew. These beings had manipulated countless species, caused untold suffering, all to maintain their power. We have enough, Heian whispered. Let's move to the communications center. They were halfway there when alarms sounded. Intruder alert. Security. Breach in Section 4. They've discovered our ship, Kiro said. We need to hurry. The team ran through corridors fighting when necessary. The station security forces were no match for humans in combat, but there were many of them. They reached the communications center and barricaded the doors. Ji-Yun and Kiro worked quickly to set up the broadcast. Uploading all data now, Ji-Yun said. The truth about the suppression, the fake conflict, everything. Outside, the security forces were trying to break through. Taewon, Hai-In, and Sergeant Moon held them back. Broadcast initiated, Ji-Yun announced. It's going to every system in the galaxy. On screens throughout the station, the evidence began playing. The secret meetings, the plans for controlling worlds, the true nature of the Confederation-Dominion conflict. Suddenly the doors burst open. Grand Admiral Vexus himself stood there with elite guards. Humans, he hissed. You have no idea what you've done. We know exactly what we've done, Taewon replied. We've set the galaxy free. Vexus stepped forward. You think we fear you because of your strength? Your speed? No. We fear you because of this. He gestured at the broadcast. Your unpredictability. Your willingness to sacrifice for others. Your ability to unite against a common threat. Then you should be very afraid, Heian said. Because today is just the beginning. Across the galaxy, suppressed worlds were receiving the truth. Rebellions were beginning. The control system that had lasted for millennia was collapsing. Vexus knew it too. You've condemned the galaxy to chaos. No, Taewon said. We've given it freedom. The human resistance ships outside began firing on the station, creating a distraction. Taewon and his team fought their way back to their ship and escaped as the station fell into chaos. As they jumped to hyperspace heading home to Earth, Taewon looked at his friends. They were tired, wounded, but victorious. The galaxy feared us because they didn't understand us, Ji-Yun said softly. They thought our strength made us dangerous. They were right, Hai-In replied, but not in the way they thought. Our strength isn't just in our muscles or our bones, it's in our hearts, in our willingness to fight for what's right. Taewon nodded. That's the real reason they feared Earth. Not because we're monsters, but because we refuse to be victims. The stars streaked by as they headed home. Behind them, a galaxy was awakening to freedom. Ahead, Earth was waiting, and humans would walk among the stars not as conquerors, but as liberators. That was why the galaxy had feared Earth. And that was why the galaxy would come to respect it.